Where to begin? It's been a crazy week if you've watched. And I'm not even talking about the news. I'm talking about some of the craziness. You've got Diddy. You've got this Nickelodeon stuff. You've got J-Lo's album flopping. You've got, we just made it through March Madness going on. And a few things I want to get into tonight. Where to begin? Yes, where to begin? To begin, you are listening to The Other People's Show on 92.5 WLSD The Vault. You can check out the show on WLSDradio.com or AM 1220. If you want to check out what the show looks like from inside the studio, you can do that on many of our social media pages: Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. The Other People Show. But yeah, what are the kids talking about? I know a lot of the kids are talking about TikTok, and TikTok is a big thing that's been going on. I do have a TikTok. It's the show's TikTok. But still learning and growing the TikTok. And trying to see how many times I can throw in the word TikTok within a minute. Because when you first post on TikTok, there are so many. You can get, 5,000 views in a matter of minutes on TikTok. I don't know. We're to the point though where I don't really even watch the videos on TikTok though. I do have the TikTok. I'll post things on there, but I don't really watch them because I don't want to get caught up in just sitting there and scrolling over and over and seeing, someone sing something about, the bridge that went down. So there's a lot of crazy things going on around right now. And this is the time when I wish I had, more of a co-host or a third mic with me, because I could bounce some of these ideas off of them. Once again, didn't bring enough water. I was listening to some old shows this past week. I drive probably 12 hours a week to work and back, I would imagine. Yeah, probably that. And it gives me some time to not only think, but I also, often will go back and listen to old radio broadcasts. And I do this for a variety of reasons. One, to see how good the show used to be. Because I'm putting on the show tonight. I'm putting on the show for you all, and I am giving it my all. But I do know in the back of my mind that the show could be better. And it's going to slowly get there. But after driving in the curvaceous the roads that I'm constantly on, it makes me sad a little bit. It makes me sad that the people that I had in my life then, although still friendly with everyone on the show, it's not what it was. It's not a family like it was. So that's what I want to get back to, and that's what I hope that you all can get back to it as well, especially this weekend. You should do that with Easter, do that with celebration, spend time with your family, going to church, whatnot. Just enjoy time together and enjoy the warm weather, because it's supposed to be. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but it is supposed to be in the 70s this weekend. Or at least 60s. I think 70s Knoxville, which is where I'm going tomorrow. Pete Davidson. Now, I don't know if you all have done something like this before, because I never really have. I've never really purchased a ticket to go see a musician or a comedian or a sports team that I didn't like, that I didn't care for. But that's exactly what I went and did. I ended up going and getting some tickets to watch Pete Davidson in Knoxville, Tennessee. And why did I do this? Is it because I have a fascination with Petey? No. Is it because I think that he's funny? No. Because I've never laughed at Pete Davidson. I'm intrigued by him because the sole reason that I've come to the conclusion that he is famous and he is where he is because his father was killed on 9/11. He was a firefighter. And unfortunately, he was killed when 9/11 occurred. And Pete grew up without a father figure. In addition to that, he has several mental health issues, and I think he has Crohn's disease as well. So he's facing a lot. Yes, don't get me wrong. I don't want to hear complaints that I'm bashing him or putting him down. Although I could be bashing a little and putting him down a little, but it's not personal. Although it could be a little bit. I don't see the appeal. A couple years back, right when COVID first took off, I had tickets to see Pete Davidson at the DC Improv. And little did I know that a few short days later, that would be shut down. Didn't get to go see him. And I had checked around, a couple weeks back. I was looking for maybe a show to go to. Maybe a couple of shows to go to. Who's going to be around within driving distance? A place I feel safe, a place that I don't mind going. And in Knoxville, I feel safe there, and I enjoy every time that I've been there. Last time I went there, we saw the Wallflowers and got to hang out with Jacob Dylan for a little bit. So it's always been cool experiences. And I had seen that, let's look at the Orange Peel in Nashville to see what's going on there. And Petey happened to be playing and doing a show there. However, his show there happened to be sold out. And I'm thinking, once again, his shows are being sold out. But I'm still not getting the reason why. Because you're not allowed. I got an email today, and also on Ticketmaster had sent me a message that prior to going into the show, you're not going to be able to use your camera during the performance. So no recording any of his act. Which I understand, you might be recording a special. You're doing a stand-up act. Your material, although for this leg of the tour, probably all very similar jokes, he might not want them out there for the public. Because if you go look, you don't see a lot of stand-up comedy, set lists just taken from the phone. It's usually a Netflix special, Hulu special, Showtime special, whatnot, things like that. So yeah, we're not going to be able to record while he's doing the show, which I would never do anyway. Now, I do hope, and this is a hope, to be able to segue into getting to meet Mr. Pete Davidson tomorrow. Had I thought about it beforehand, I would have tried to coordinate with him, maybe calling in on the show tonight. But he doesn't have social media, so that's not really an option. Reaching out in the past, that's how I've reached out to people. Pauly Shore, Andy Dick, people like this. It was all through social media is how I even honestly got in contact with them at all. Can't be the same said for Pete Davidson. So that's going on tomorrow. We've got Easter coming up Sunday. That's going to be a fun day. It's supposed to be nice and warm. Enjoy yourselves. Some of you all do the eggs. Now, I never remember specifically painting the eggs and hiding the eggs. Because I know it happened a time or two. I do recall that. But, and it's weird. This is speaking about, thinking about things you don't remember. I was having kind of a meeting with a friend. I'm trying to think. It was yesterday. And, we were, discussing some projects that were coming up and, the kind of the dates and things like that. Just talking freely about things that we've done and our feelings about those things. And a mutual friend came up, and I learned that the mutual friend that was mentioned, I really wasn't a, quote, friend to this person because I really didn't know this person. I only hung out with the person maybe a handful of times. But I was used as kind of a deflection to hang out with someone. And it made me think, have you ever used someone without them knowing to get out of going places? For example, let's say that my friend Roger, which I don't know anyone named Roger. I did in the past, but I don't know anyone now. That my friend Roger, every time that his friend, Jacqueline asks him to hang out, and they're just friends, but every time Jacqueline asks Roger to hang out, he's like, no, I really can't hang out. Adam and I are filming. Or I really can't hang out. Adam and I, we're working on the radio show. We're doing some projects together. And then you find out years later, when Jacqueline speaks to me, Roger was talking all the time that you and him hung out. We're doing all these cool projects and stuff, filming together all the time, doing stuff for the radio show, man on the street stuff. It's really cool. And then I'm like, wait, I only hung out with Roger maybe 5 times. Jacqueline's like, what? He told me that you all hung out like all the time. It's like many times when I ask him to do something, he would use you as an excuse. I can't do it. Sorry, dude. Sorry, ma'am. You can call him ma'am, dude. Sorry, dude. Can't do it. So that was kind of interesting to learn a little bit about yourself that you didn't know, which makes me often wonder, not often, but, provoked me to think how much you're probably talked about behind your back and you don't even know it, whether it be good or bad. And how, if those kind of things, not knowing possibly could, put you in a mental state of frenzy, how to overcome and how to deal with that. Because sometimes I've thought about that. Someone has said something not true about me. It's got back. I replay it in my mind over and over again. Get upset about it. Can't get it out of my mind when I'm trying to sleep. Constantly nags at me. How do you deal with these things? Do you confront the person? Now, I'm not saying that I feel that way now about what I learned. I could care less. It doesn't change my life or make me think different one way or the other because it wasn't anything bad. But I know in the past, when thinking about these things, I'm never 100% sure of the social etiquette or friend etiquette, how you bring these kind of things up. Or not even a friend, kind of like an acquaintance, someone that you work with, not in like a, not like, I know that some of you all have like work friends, and it's kind of like a working family. Everyone at work is kind of like a tight-knit family. But I know there's also jobs and also people that pretty much all they do is clock in and out, do their shift, and go home. Do their job and go home, which is fine because you have your own family. So both those scenarios are fine. And I digressed off of the initial topic, which I now have dug so deep, I don't really know what it is. But there's been a couple of things this week I want to touch on. We'll do a short show tonight. I didn't realize that J-Lo's album had flopped. J-Lo, This Is Me Now. She had a documentary, and it's getting a lot of hate on X and online. And her album, I think it debuted at number 32 this week. It's her 7th album, I believe. Maybe 8th. And this is the lowest debuting Jennifer Lopez album. I couldn't tell you a song. I couldn't tell you one song that J-Lo sings within the last, I don't know, Jenny from the Block was probably the last time that I honestly paid attention to Jennifer Lopez singing career. You know what I mean? Now, there was a couple times, like she had her movie. Now, I'm not saying I dislike Jennifer Lopez because I don't think she seems like she is a nice person. I don't feel like I would really want to hang out with Jennifer Lopez at all. Because I wouldn't. Now, would I go to a J-Lo show? No. Have I went to Jennifer Lopez movies? Yeah, sure I have. Because there's a couple of good ones. And, are they good because of her? I mean, U-Turn. I was mentioning this to Mikey the other day. Actually, yesterday. U-Turn. Fantastic movie if you like that kind of film noir movie. Jennifer Lopez, Nick Nolte, Billy Bob Thornton. You got John Voight, Sean Penn. So you've got a nice ensemble. She does a good job. One of her early roles. Then you've got her in like The Wedding Planner, Cookie Cutter, things like that. She does a fantastic job. Probably her best acting role in a George Clooney movie called Out of Sight. It's got Don Cheadle. It's got George Clooney, Jennifer Lopez, Ving Rhames. And it's Albert Brooks is in it. And it's a nice caper based on an Elmore Leonard novel of the same name. And it's probably, I would say that or From Dusk Till Dawn is George Clooney's best. And I would say acting-wise and movie-wise production, I would say Out of Sight, honestly. Steven Soderbergh, he directed the movie. And J-Lo is great. Another J-Lo movie, I guess her most recent movie that I've seen was the Hustlers movie. And that was based upon a real, kind of real life event that happened. And that was a good movie, enjoyable movie. I've just watched it once. So she's not somebody that I would go back to time and time again. I find her acting for the most part a little bit weak. Yeah, I remember a lot of the Jennifer Lopez, Jenny from the Block songs and Get Right, Love Don't Cost a Thing, things like that, Waiting for Tonight. Basically, it was a lot during the rise of the celebrity as we know him and her now. TRL was a big thing at the time. Jennifer Lopez had broke into movies with Selena and a few of these smaller films. But when I first saw that Jennifer Lopez was putting out an album, I thought, J-Lo putting out? I don't even think she was J-Lo at that point. I think she was still, Jenny or Jenny from the Block. She didn't become J-Lo until, pretty much they started giving nicknames to people like, Bennifer and, Brangelina, things like that. So this was kind of ushering in that celebrity culture when Jennifer Lopez kind of really bust onto the scene. And, I'll admit I had a Jennifer Lopez poster hanging on my wall. It was to the left of the bed. When I would wake up in the morning, I would get out of bed. Well, actually, it was the right. Well, it was the left because I slept on my stomach then. But I would wake up. There, Jenny from the Block is on my wall. Now, Jenny from the Block is not on my wall. And I don't even think about Jenny from the Block. And no one else does either. That's why her album flopped. That's why it sank. And she said that she was depressed and upset that the album didn't do well. She said no one was even asking for a new album. And she's had to cancel a couple of tours because they're not selling out. I'm sorry, J-Lo. It's not 1999 to 2004. No one cares about the rocks that you got now. You're not Jenny from the Block because you've been the Jennifer that you are now for at least 25 years. So you're not the same Jenny from the Block that you claim to be. It sounds like I hate Jennifer Lopez, which I don't. I don't dislike Jennifer Lopez, but I don't think she's a nice person. I don't think she seems to be a nice person. And I don't even know if she claims to be a nice person at all. But that was going on in the news. Another thing in the news this week, we have a little bit of, I don't want to get into it too much. Things are developing. But P. Diddy is, things aren't looking good for him. His house is in Miami and Los Angeles got raided this week. In Florida, they were by plane, by boat, by tank. And then the lawyer for P. Diddy was saying, this is excessive force, coming in like this. But it isn't. It isn't excessive force. Because if you go back and you look at the charges that Mr. Puff Daddy, he said Puff Daddy, Puffy, Diddy, P. Diddy. Now, Diddy do, Diddy don't. Diddy did, allegedly. That being said, charges go back all the way to Jennifer Lopez. If you rewind back to around Jenny from the Block days, Puff Daddy, as he was known then, and J-Lo were dating. They'd went to a nightclub together and a shooting occurred. They fled the scene. They ran a red light and they got, a ticket and things like that. But what's coming out now is that at the time, Puff Daddy caused the shooting. Puff Daddy gave J-Lo the gun because he wasn't supposed to be handling the guns. So this is the behavior that P. Diddy has exhibited throughout his career. Several of the lawsuits from Cassie, she said, amongst the disturbing sexual aspects that were mentioned. Besides that, she was ordered to carry some of his guns. And a lot of the claims stem back for years, and now they're coming out. So we'll see how this develops. I've been listening to a lot of the, this might be the court or the saga of the summer of 2024. If you think back, what was it, 2 years back? We had the Johnny Depp, Amber Heard saga. And it looks like this could be, another thing like that. This could be another Epstein of the hip-hop community, of the music world. So, I don't want to say that's what it is because we don't have all the facts. But if you go back and you look at a lot of the cases like R. Kelly and Epstein, some of the same kind of similar things that were alleged about them is being alleged about Puffy, P. Diddy. And, it wasn't like I was ever a real huge fan. I never owned any Diddy, Puffy, P. Diddy, and the Bad Boy Family albums. I didn't, I knew a couple of songs, but like the Bad Boys for Life song, basically I knew that just from the video. It was on TRL for a while. Ben Stiller happened to be in the video. And then Missing You, obviously that, that was for Notorious B.I.G. And that still played, even as a couple weeks ago, I heard it on the radio. Now, I don't know what it'll happen. It's not looking good, though, for P. Diddy. And this Nickelodeon documentary that came out, I watched, I've not finished it. I've watched 2 of the 3 episodes. And, it is disturbing what I see and what I've witnessed. They're supposed to be making another episode with Drake Bell. And I always kind of wondered after, Josh and Drake? After that, kind of, what happened to Drake Bell? He had some problems of his own. He had been in this Not Another Superhero movie, which was kind of like the spoof movies. And, did music and voice work. But, it's kind of sad. And I've never really ever liked the idea of being a child actor or actress. I know it's, necessary for, when there's a role and you're a child, and whether pushed by your parents or pushed because have a love for acting and productions. But being pushed into that is not a life that anybody would really, really want. Because you do see, the Instagram posts, the social media posts about, living the life of luxury, and, maybe you get some tables at a restaurant first, and you're set for life as far as, finances and money goes. But how much is taken away from that person that we don't really ever know about? And, that kind of makes me feel a lot for these kids, because you go and you look at Amanda Bynes, and I was a little bit, I'd heard of all that in the Amanda Show, and Josh and Drake and these things, but I was a little too old to really sit around and watch it a lot. And I don't even think that I did. Later on, I revisited, Drake and Josh, or Josh and Drake. I can't even remember which it is. But yeah, being a child celebrity was nothing that I ever thought would be fun. And I do, remember being younger and, maybe wanting some of the things that I saw that they had, but it never really appealed to me. Because I never really, honestly, enjoyed a lot of kids that were in films. I always thought the kid sidekick was a little bit annoying. Like Short Round in Temple of Doom. Is Short Round, he's okay. I think it would have been just fine without him. And then I'm trying to think of some others that, I guess The Crow. I guess in The Crow, I guess she's okay. Sarah, I think is her name. She's okay, and that's been her only acting role, by the way. I think her name is Rochelle Davis. I think is the actress's name. But a lot of the times I find the sidekick, especially if it's a little kid, annoying. About a Boy. Hugh Grant was doing a great job in that film. And, they kind of put in the subplot with the boy. And I know it's part of the book and then part of the movie, but I thought, that's kind of where it lost me a lot of the time. So I'm biased as far as that goes a little bit anyway. But it's really sad to see, Amanda Bynes, because she was an up-and-coming star. And she was a star. And I didn't realize that she'd went, basically... She went on, within a few episodes, she was able to get The Amanda Show. Then The Amanda Show did well, and she was this big money-making viewing machine for Nickelodeon. And then she branched out into like Water Girl once, and, a couple of different films. And then you see her now, and for the last decade, she's been, sadly, a train wreck, mentally. She was in a mental health facility for a while getting treatment. She, got a heart tattooed right on her cheek. I think I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, she burned a lot of her clothes and things like that in the driveway of her parents' house. So she's had a lot of problems, and a lot of these problems have stemmed from being on Nickelodeon with Dan Schneider, allegedly. And I didn't realize that Dan Schneider was actually on Head of the Class. Now, I never remember ever watching an episode of Head of the Class. But I do actually remember seeing, commercials for it. And I've, in the following years, I've heard about it, obviously. But yeah, I think it's a sad tragedy what's going on out there. So we'll see what happens. I don't think any kind of charges are going to occur over the Dan Schneider thing. P. Diddy though, could be. like I said, short show tonight. Thank you for tuning in. And go to all of our social media pages. That's the Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, The Other People's Show. And check out all of the fine programming on 92.5 WLSD, The Vault. You all have a good night.
Closing time.